So we'll start modules. So shall we start now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So today we are actually talking about modules. What is modules? A quick walk through. So tell me about modules. What is module?
Python 5, which is
Pardon?
the Python 5.
Yes, Mohammed.
Python 5.
Python
5.
5. So module is nothing but a Python 5. That is what I have seen, and it is denoted by some extension, right? So yesterday we seen Py, Py3, Py and PyND. Okay, and but Py3 is not preferable for execution, but we can use Py3, but this is not preferable. So the suggested extension is py. So that's why pyc file will be converted when you're using .py, not with py3. So yesterday it is not worked with py3, right? The reason is this is the preferable one. So they are did it for py alone, not for py3. So it is better to use .py. But if you are using an individual if you're using individual without any import, then you can go with py3. But the preferable and the globally used extension is .py. And yesterday Shivram asked one question: what is .pym? So pym is a Python macro file. So this is to help us to create do various keyboard shortcuts and auto completion, etc. So like this is a preprocessor. So if you want, we can implement that. And if it is IDE, they are actually doing that autofill, right? Say for example, kind of the auto suggestion and all, right? They have implemented it using macro alone. So I'll show you the some demos. So these are they have implemented Sublime implemented and kept it in their file. So they are using this name to so do suggestions and all. They're using that to suggest. So if you say autofill and all, they're using this macros. Okay, it's called Python macros. So for keyboard shortcuts and you all know the pre-processed stuff. Like if you are in if you're developing HTML and with along with Python code, so the syntax for macro Python is say begin Python and your Python code, and say you have to say end Python. Okay, what happened? The code which is reside in between these two tags will be considered as a Python code, and it will be evaluated and it will be bind along with other files. Say for example, HTR, HTML kind of. Okay, so that's why we're using Python EM, that is Python macro processor. So also we have similar such things. Today we'll talk about that. What else is there? So next I told you. So you all familiar with what is import from and as, right? Any doubts in this? Are you clear? What is import from, the difference between import alone and from import? Any doubts? No. Okay. So we'll discuss in detail about that. If you want to import something, the condition is you can import if both are in the same location. Got it? If both file are in the same location, then you can do import, because this I'm here. If I say from sample, we have such thing in the same location. That's why it looks. But if I kept it in somewhere else, say for example, I'm creating a new folder inside this, and I will move it inside. Okay, let's try now. See what will happen. What will happen now? Will it work or not? So actually, I have moved my file into some other location, so it won't be visible. So sample is not readable for that, for sample 3. So what will happen now?
Model not found.
Model not found. That is the. Is that what you are
Import
saying?
error.
Import error.
Import error.
Import error. Is that import error? I'm saying it will work. Why? What is the reason? What is the reason? What is the reason? What is the reason? I'm showing the location as well. Still you are confused.
bytecode is there.
What is that?
Bytecode.
A PYC file is exist.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's why it is not working. So these are the bytecodes. So that's why I told you, right? PYC alone will help us to import between two modules. If I delete this, what will happen? Now what will happen?
Error.
What is the error? So why I'm saying this, when you came across, so you actually remove the Python file, but still import works means the reason is the PyOC file was exist, it was hidden. That's why it is working. So you need to delete that file too. Then only you will face such error. So now what will be the error?
Import error.
Import error, and then no module name. No model name.
In the
No model name. What is the model name?
sample.
Sample. That's it. Got it? This is my error. Now I want to use it from this location. So I'm in the same location. There is a one folder beyond that. So I have to say sam dot. Okay. I supposed to say sam dot. So this is my folder, and inside my folder, this is my module, and rest of the stuff keep as it is. Understand? Got it? Now again we'll face an error. No module name sam.sample. The reason is in Python 2, not in Python 3. In Python 2, if you are using a folder means uh, we get confused, right? What is sam? What is sample and all, right? We all know here what you are actually giving should be a module name, right? But when you say sam, you will never know what it is, whether it is a module or a folder, right? So you have to tell me Python, this is a Pythonic folder. For that, we need to create a file called init.py. Double underscore init double underscore dot py. So we're supposed to create a file called underscore underscore init underscore underscore dot py. Then Python will understand this is a Pythonic folder. Now it will work. Understand? Are you clear? In Python 2, it will create himself, so we don't need to worry about that. But anyway, we're supposed to create init.py file. So this is the reason we're using init.py. So to tell Python this is a Pythonic folder. So if you are importing like this again, then we Python should know this is Python folder. Inside we have a module called sample. For that, we supposed to create a file called init.py. This is the reason why we creating init.py file. Understand? Understand? Any doubts?
Yeah, how to
how to unhide the PYC file.
Okay, so that is your. It's up to your operating system. So go to settings. Say show hidden files.
Okay.
Yeah. In second way is say from folder. From folder import. Import what? Import module name. Okay. Now, if I execute, what will happen? This also will work. Now, what will happen? What will happen now? Debug the lines. So hope you are all available, right? Hello.
The same.
Pardon?
It will give after overridden 20.
It will give after 120 and then will it work or not?
From should be file name, right?
No. I
From
told you you can keep a folder name import module name. You can keep like this module folder dot module import the exact one
objects.
exact object or else from folder import module we all tried, right? Import module we all tried, right? The such way this is folder and this is module, this also will work. Now my question is
So
do we face any error inside
we
or
have to use sample dot like that
sample
in that
dot what
variables.
where
Sample dot x.
sample dot x it is defined so it won't be a problem.
Mm.
So till now it won't be a problem and then
Yes.
That print s of Karthi. So sample dot s of Karthi.
we don't have anything called yes. So it will raise what will be the error? What will be the error?
Name error.
Name error. Name s is not defined. Got it?
Name.
So I supposed to say sample dot say hi. Understand? Or you can say sample dot say hi as it will work if I do like this. So here it will work. So here it is not hi. Okay, that's it. So you can import from folder in two way. One is a folder dot module import everything directly, or a folder import a module name. This is the two way in using from. Okay. Any doubts in this? Now we are going to create a new module.
Mohidin, could you go to that folder, SAM folder? It has actually created init PYC there.
Pardon? Yeah.
In the SAM folder,
Hmm.
I saw INIT. Yeah,
Yes.
what is that? How exactly it is created?
So this will be created when we compiling it. So that I told you, right, PYC file will be generated, auto-generated.
Right.
So this will be needed for import statement.
Okay, so it is
So
automatically created,
yes,
right?
when you say from SAM, right? So I told you, so so for Python, if you want to detect this is a folder, we need to create a init.py. Okay. So then what happened? So this file is obviously required. So while importing, the file will be executed and it is actually generating PYC file. If you delete this, still it will work. No problem.
Okay, got it.
But if I delete PYC, then it won't. Understand?
Okay.
No. So the PYC is important for execution. PY is for our reference. So whatever you want to make changes, please do it in a PY. But PYC file will be generated simultaneously because that is for a communication between a program language interpreter and with machine, not for us. Okay. Now I have created a new module. We'll talk about what is module. Okay. So we all know what is hash means. What is these lines?
Comments.
Comments, exactly, that is right. So these are the comments. Okay, so here these are the IDE features, editor feature. So they are actually creating this. Reason is, if you are in a development in your companies, okay, and bunch of people are in a development, and they want to know so who actually created, when was modified, kind of stuff. So these are editor feature. Editor will take care of this. Okay, so this is a one-time configuration. Once you're done, whenever you're creating a new Python file or any files within an editor inside some project folder, it will actually create a command. You all know it won't be executed when you execute, but it will be hidden, right? That's it. So this is again a macros. So that comments with at, right, that is macros. It will be auto-filled. Depends on who actually created, when it is created, who modified, if you are an organization, and when you modified. Okay. So with the help of at symbol, they are picking the comment, but there is a no relation between this comments and program. This is purely editor feature, that Sublime feature. Okay. And it will never affect or reflect in your code. It will never affect your code. This is a comment section. So this is called magic comment, a comment with macros. Okay. Now I'm going to talk. So when you're creating a module, okay, if you have any import statement, just starts with import. Say for example,
How
yeah.
to enable that macros?
So in that in editor Sublime and all, okay. So there is something called file header. We need to install that file header. Okay, these are the plugins. There is a lot of plugins available in Sublime. Say Control Shift P, install packages, search install packages. Okay, the shortcut is Control Shift P. It will open a box. There search install packages, package control install package. So click it and it will load in your repositories. It requires internet connection, and then search your third-party libraries like a file header kind of. So I have already installed, so it won't be appear for you. It will appear. Okay, if you are doing first time, it will appear file header. So for me, I'm already installed, so it won't appear again. Got it? So these are the plugins, third-party plugins. Now, so the way to write modules, right? The first step is to start with import statement. And if you have anything like from, use from. Kind of. That's it. Okay, and followed by, if you have any object declaration, just do it. So you need to keep two space in between this and object declaration. Object mean anything. It can be a class, function, etc. Everything is an object. Got it? So you need to keep two space. It won't raise any problem if you don't keep, but it won't be, the code won't be it won't be readable. It won't be properly readable. That's why, as per PEP documentation, we need to keep two space between import statement and object declaration. If you have any class or a function, just say class. Okay, keep two spaces and all. Got it? And whenever you are creating another class, again just keep two spaces in between. Okay, this is the procedure to create a module. Got it? And don't be junk. say for example, in a last example, I did like this. So you all know when I copy paste, what happened? Everything will be executed, right? When I execute, it will be execute, right? Because Python is a line by line execution. It will execute line by line by line. Okay, but you should not write like this. Okay, what you have to do? So say for example, if you are creating a function, def. So what will happen now? So it looks junk, so it is not properly readable, right? And when you execute this, what will happen?
Name error.
Where?
Fact.
Because
18th line.
yeah, I'm calling my function before definition, right? So it will raise name error. Exactly. So I kept my both a definition and function call in the same file. What happened? This will lead to an error. So if I call a function with before defining it, it will raise an error, right? So the way to, so whenever you have a function call and all, just keep it at the end of your file. This is the proper way to write a function call. Okay. So don't keep function call in between. Keep it at the end. But instead, there is again a way to, that is if underscore underscore name equal to again underscore underscore main, do this. Okay, this is the way to write your function call. What is the difference and why we need this? Okay, say for example, you have created a module and you are running it, right? When you are running your code, we need to call these two functions with some dedicated input, right? It's working. But the same time, if someone is using your module, say for example, from interpreter, I'm going to, so this is my module, I'm going to use this. So first module, I need without this, let's see, if I import, let's see what will happen. So when I execute, I'm getting a results, right? Similarly, when I import, again I'm getting a results. But when you import, you don't need to call a function, right? Because I will call whenever I want. That's why we are using import statement, correct? So here I need to call this function with my input, so I'm doing this. But while importing, I don't need to call because I know when I need to call. Got the difference? So when your model is used by, so this is when I'm using, I need to call my function. If someone is using your module, they don't need a function call. They will call whenever they want. Say like a first module dot len with a different input. Correct? Have you understand? So this should not work when they call. Someone is called. The third party is actually calling your using your modules. Understand the difference? So what is I'm talking about? Hello.
A bit confused.
So when I execute, so I created this module. I'm executing this. Okay. I need to call both of my function len and fact. If you are confused, please tell me how I know, because we are doing online session. I'm not able to see your face at all, so you need to tell me that. So what is actually feeling? So otherwise we are wasting our time. So each time we are calling, so what you're thinking, did you understand or not? Okay. Otherwise, what happen? I will keep moving on, so you won't understand anything. Please do that. Okay. So just assume I have made a module, and when I'm executing, I need to call a len and fact function. Okay. For that, we all implemented function call at the end of your program. I created and I'm executing it. So I got a results. Got it? If someone is using your module, okay, some third party, if from interpreter, someone is using your module using import statement. When they importing, this function call should not taken place. The reason is they don't need that. All they want is they want to call this function whenever they want. Understand the difference? But here the function call taken place, but it should not happen. It should happen when myself calling my function. I wrote this, whenever calling, I need to do this. But if someone doing, you should not allow them to do. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah. How they access actually?
restriction. How to make the restriction, right? That is what we are going to talk about.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, this course, how they just accessing this course?
That is import. That is what we are seeing. Import.
Okay, import.
First module, a module name.
The folder is common, so they are using
Yeah. The folder is common. So I'm in the same folder.
Okay.
I'm in the same folder. Okay.
Fine.
Now, you want to restrict them, right? There I'm using if condition. Now say if myself execute, this print will work. Got it? Now if they doing actually, it is not working because I made a restriction. The reason is, what might be the reason? Which one actually preventing it?
If condition.
The condition. Okay, what the condition mean? Okay, so a name means your module name. Okay, for myself, so each and everyone has has their own nickname in home, right? In home, you might be called with your nickname. Out of your home, you will be called with your name, right? Similarly, for each and every modules, the module name is main. If you execute, so I made it. When I execute, my module name is main. Got it? It says main. Similarly, for the terminal name is main. The terminal name is main. But when I import something, this is the third party module. Understand? For this terminal, first module is third party. Understand the difference? The terminal name is main. For this terminal, that import is third party. What is the module name? For terminal, the name is main. For this terminal, what is the name for this module name? Have you got the difference? In this, within this module, my module name is
First
main.
model.
Main. Okay. So from this terminal, my module name is again main. Means itself, its name is main. Now I'm importing someone else. Right? Now what is the name?
First model.
Exactly. First module. Got it? That's the way we have implemented this logic. Okay. If someone is accessing, the module name is a module name. If you are accessing yourself, the module name is main. I wrote a condition. That's it. If I execute it, I need to trigger this function call. If someone executing, don't do that. Okay. If some similarly, just reverse the process. If third someone executing your module, you need to execute a function call as well. What do you need to do? Just say not equal. Here it won't work. For us, the function call never taken place, but for them, it will. Got the difference?
If I import one more model name in that terminal means what will be the name for
Import.
that terminal?
I'll take a sample. Yeah, sample 3 is there. Sample. Okay. So what is the doubt in this?
If I import one more
When I say
module,
first module, the following code was executed and producing the result, right? The first module. So it actually say created a module name, etc. So I've imported one more module. So what is the problem? It is imported sample. So cd unit name sample dot name. This is the sample. So the sample model name is sample. First model name is first model. Itself name is main.
main. Okay.
Got the difference?
Yes.
Yeah, but Mohittin, how it has taken for the main as the for that name?
That
We have
is,
not.
it's a fixed name. It's a string. It's a default name. So myself, I'm having some fixed name, right? Nickname. It won't be a dynamic. So in your home, you will be called with some specific name. In outside, you'll be called with your name, legal name, kind of. The legal name is first module, but within a module, for all the time, it will be main only. For each and every module, its name is main. In this, the module name is main. So if I print, the name is main again for
Okay.
sample.
Okay, got you.
Got the difference?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So any module, we have a name as main only.
When I
in
calling
the-
itself, it's main. From outside, from inside, it's main. From
Okay.
outside, a module name, the file name actually. Got it?
Yeah.
So any doubts in this? And finally, we are going to talk about the naming convention. Okay. So we all seen a naming convention for object. So a module also treated as an object while you importing it, right? You should not give space in between. You should not use hyphen in between because this is not a Pythonic syntax for object declaration. Got the difference? See, when I creating it, py. I'm going to create a new file, hello space world dot py. Okay. When I execute this Python space hello, it will work. But when you importing into your Python, will it work or not? How will you import? You won't be able to import this way, right? So Python won't take the syntax, right? Will it work or not? Will it work or not?
No, we have not yet defined that, right? It's not a function or anything. We
No,
have not
import hello world. I have created a file.
It will work. It
It
will
will
import.
work. So you never listen what I said this time for past few minutes. What we are talking about. So what we are talking about. At least you said something. So others are remaining silent means they are not at all listened. Okay. So I will clarify your doubts. So what you listen, what we are actually talking about.
We were talking
Yeah.
about the restriction.
Pardon?
The restriction.
It's not a restriction.
Model name.
Modules.
Module name. I told you a naming conventions for module names. Right? I told you the object we have seen such rules in object declaration, right? The same rule is applicable for module name as well, right? So is it possible to give space in between two names in module object name? I
No.
told you module also object. So inside a Python, when you importing module also will be treated as an object. We can do anything as what we're actually done with module, object. So we can use a dot attributes. We can say der, etc. We can also do it for module object as well. Okay. So what happen if I use like this? When I
Error.
execute, it will work.
Syntax.
When I execute Python space module name, it will work. It is actually providing a results. But inside a Python, it is not a syntax because you should not give a space in between objects, right? I told you. So similarly, don't give hyphen. It will take, when you execute, it will accept. It will print. But in case when you come inside, this is not a syntax. Understand? What happened?
Syntax.
Syntax error. It's not a valid syntax. So for that, we have seen a naming convention. Either say camel case or underscore.
We can use underscore.
So in module names and all, it is preferable to give camel case when compared with underscore. The reason is then only you can able to differentiate this is object, this is modules. So this is a declare a variable and module. So everything is an object. So you have a different you have difference, right? When it is a variable, we can use underscore. In case of modules, it is better to use a camel case. So we have a differentiation. Otherwise, we will get confused whether it is variable or a module. Got it? So for modules, it is better to give camel case.
In the terminal, the first line, what is the first line? And second line is Python 3.
Okay.
And the first line?
Bro, I have one doubt, bro.
This one?
No, bro. That Python hello -word.py. That first.
This one.
Yeah.
I'm executing this Python file. Here, what happened? I'm inside my Python interpreter. I'm importing and using it. But I told you, right, how to execute Python file using Python space hello world. Sorry. Hello world. This is the way to execute a Python file. I told you the IDs and all how they implementing the shortcuts. Control B. They were actually mapped the command with Control B. It's executing it. So in the shortcuts, they have mapped this in a build, right?
Terminate that running of code. What is the shortcut key you told yesterday?
No, this is for IDE. IDE actually assigns shortcut for module execution. But in terminal, we supposed to say this is the way. This is the raw code. Python space a module name has like Java. When you execute in Java file, you have to say like that, right? This is the basic way to execute your module. I told you this is the basic way. When in terms of IDs and all, they're using a shortcut. They're actually mapped that command with shortcuts.
Okay.
In IDE, but in terminal you have to execute like this way. Yeah, any doubts?
Bro, இப்போ import பண்றோம்ல
Yeah.
module object module object object model வந்து அப்போ எரர் இல்லாம இது பண்றதுக்கு எப்படி போகும்?
எரர் இல்லாம எது இந்த ஐஃபோன்லாம் போட்டா?
இல்ல ப்ரோ இம்போர்ட் இப்போ பண்ணோம்ல ப்ரோ இது இல்ல பைத்தான் hello world.py இதுல குட் மார்னிங்னு அவுட்புட் வந்துருது.
அதான் சொன்னல இந்த நேமிங் கன்வென்ஷன்ஸ் இருக்குல. We have already seen a naming convention. You should not give hyphen space in between module name. So this is invalid naming. Please avoid this. That is what I'm going to say. Okay? இந்த மாதிரி கொடுக்க கூடாது. That is what I said. This is
import பண்ணும்போது object module வந்து இந்த மாதிரி கொடுக்க கூடாது.
No, not in import. While you creating a file, you should not give this. I told you this will work from outside, but in terms of inside, if you're using an inside code, it will never work. It will raise an error. So this is not outside. This is not a preferable way to give a naming. So that is what I'm saying. Naming convention. So giving a space hyphen is not a proper way to naming your modules. Either use a camel case or underscore. Purinjida?
Okay, bro.
Yeah. Now, any doubts with Sublimes? So you all install Sublime, right? So let me know if you have any doubts. We'll see that. So PyCharm is an IDE for Python. Okay.
Bro?
When you're doing something,
you wrote one condition, right? If name equal to main.
Yes.
In that we put the main into single quotes. So anything into single quotes, it should be string, right? So
yes.
Why it's not considered as a string or
main is a name? That's why we kept it inside string. If you don't keep it inside string, it will be considered as a variable. We don't have a variable called main.
Okay.
Main is a name. Name is a string, right? If I say Prabhagar is a string, if I don't specify quotes, what happened?
That will be variable.
It will be treated as a variable. That's why I kept it inside quote.
Okay.
Got it? Just check the data type. See type of. It is string. Got it?
Okay.
Now, so these are the PyCharm. So what is PyCharm and why we using PyCharm? So PyCharm is an IDE. Sublime is an editor. The difference is this is just assume this is 30 MB and PyCharm will be 300 MB. Okay, it contains the complete end-to-end development platform. So this is pure, if you want to develop, if you want to use some IDE for development, we can go with PyCharm or Sublime. If you want a lightweight editor, we can go with Sublime. Okay, lightweight in the sense we all have only the editor alone is there. Okay, and we want to have a version controller, etc. If you want, we need to add it using package controller with the help of plugins. By default, it contains the basic tool for programming. But IDE is a collection of packages, that is integrated development environment. So what else you need for development? Everything is there. Okay, VCS, version control system is there. So we can push your code into Git directly, and we have a server. We can run our web application. If you are in a web development, we have a server integrated. We can execute as a server, and we have a file browser, and pep is implemented. So pep is there by default. uh, if I violate the pep rule, it will indicate me, so you are actually violating the rules. Say I told you to keep the space. See, between two classes we supposed to give two space. Okay, if I don't, it will say, see, as per Pepe document, expected two blank lines. And if you want to start out, just click the balloon icon, say reformat. It will do it automatically. We don't need to do anything. Okay, so we don't need to do anything. So this will be taken care by the ID itself. Okay, and we all know that line. There is a line that I told you, right? That a line length is 120 characters. That's the visible length, right? So if I exit, I supposed to scroll. So here it indicates your line is too long. Keep it should be less than 120 character, or keep it in the next line. So what it do? So it will do it for us. So we don't need to take worry about that. The reformat will take care of it. So it will actually break your line. So this is taken care by IDE itself. So everything is integrated. That is the usage of IDE. And if you want to install the package, just go to File, Settings, search Project Interpreter. Just click the plus icon, search and install your packages. But by default, what you have to do? You need to enter a command like a pip install Credo system kind of, right? But in case of IDE, everything is integrated. We don't need to worry about the commands. Just search and install. That is a feature of what? IDE. That is, so PyCharm is one of the IDE. Everything is integrated. So all the features are integrated. But in Sublime, we don't have the features. We need to configure manually. But it contains the basic needs for programming, like coloring, executing your program using a Control B. It will execute your program. Got it? The basic stuff will be taken care by editors. But if you want an entire feature for development, it will be better choices IDEs. There is a difference between IDE and editor. And please start working on IDEs and editor, so you will get a proper tool knowledge as well. Okay, so if you are all downloaded Sublime, you can go with Sublime. And if you want knowledge of PyCharm, just download and please ask me. I will tell you that how to configure and all. So for PyCharm, just go to PyCharm website. It's a JetBrains website. JetBrains is a manufacturer, so JetBrains PyCharm. So there, download. So there is a two version. One is a professional, and second version is a community edition. So for for students, they are actually providing for free of cost. The professional one is a paid, and community is free. So go with free edition. Okay. So you have a tool knowledge. So it is good to use IDs also. So start coding in some dedicated platform. So you have a tool knowledge. If you are in a development, you should know these things. Got it? Any doubts?
Moving just out of this, when we are giving any file to, or suppose we are writing any script, okay, so we just need a .py file, or we need .pyc also along with that?
We don't. I told you, right? POC is auto generated.
Correct.
Yeah.
So no, what I mean to say is, not in the same box. Suppose if we want to give the script to other, so that they can use that script, so we need to give along with the pyc, or just py is enough?
Yeah, it's up to the user. If you are sharing your code with a developer, you should share what?
Py, right? Or
PY.
just yeah.
PY,
Okay.
because they want to edit the code.
Okay.
If you want to ship your code to end user, because you are actually developing application and you're not going to make any changes, right? Then PYC is fine.
Okay.
Because the end user should not, they should not touch your code, right? If you ship a PY, they can change your code. But if it is PYC, they won't able to do any changes. So for end user, you can ship a PYC, but for developer, PY file.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So any doubts? So tomorrow we'll talk about a class. Yeah. We'll move on to OOPS concepts. Yeah, please. Anyone? Hello. So tomorrow
We'll try.
Sure.
Doubt.
Yeah, starts coding in a IDEs or editor, and there's a lots of editor available. So Sublime is there, VS Code, it's a visual code platform, and GitHub Atom is there, and Notepad++ is there. In Notepad you don't get this feature, but Notepad++ has it. And in terms of IDE, we have PyCharm, we have Jupyter, and we have NetBrains, and we have Eclipse. We need to install a plugin for Python. So these are the editors, IDEs and editors. And tomorrow we'll start a new topic called class. So there we will going to learn about what is OOPS concept in Python. So how to implement OOPS concept with Python. So OOPS is a programming concept. We'll discuss in detail how to implement, so how to utilize OOPS concept in Python. Okay. So I will wind up this session, this topic alone. So from tomorrow we'll start class section. So any doubts today? So please remember the usage of init py. Okay. In Python 3, it will create something called PyCache. We don't need to worry about that. Python 3 will take care of it. For you, it will take care of it. What I said was Python 2. So we need this. In case if we face such error, create this file. __init__.py. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll see tomorrow. Please do practice and let me know if you have any doubts.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. So bye guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.